Oh, welcome everybody. I am so excited. What a way to start 2017 with the Education Success Masterclass. I am so delighted that everyone's actually who have registered and have come online. It's going to be an amazing night. And one of the reasons it's going to be amazing is because we've got some really great speakers on board who are actually coming on to give you some tips and some ideas. And we're just going to introduce some of the speakers who've actually who actually on the course, who've done their training and their coaching session. They're experts in their field and they've come on to give you some ideas. Now, today we're actually focusing, we're kickstarting, we're launching, looking at planning, why it's important to plan ahead. By the end of the session, the speakers will give you some tips and some ideas as to some power tips and some ideas as to how you can help your children to excel. But our real focus is to actually help you from A to Z to ensure we help to get your children to that place where you want them to get, where they can achieve their dreams, their potential, and their careers. What's really exciting about the Education Success Masterclass and the way it's actually different is because we're focused on academics. We certainly believe that it's important for your children to excel and do academically, so do well academically. So we're building a network to help children achieve in school, get in the best schools, get in the top universities. But we believe all together as a group in the whole child. So it's important for them to do well academically, but it's also important for them to do well in life. It's important for their self-esteem, for us to think about spirituality, for us to think about just how their family relationships, all of these things are really important. And we know that if a child is happy and contented, they will excel, they will achieve. And also, when we're talking about this journey from A to Z, we just think, why not enjoy the journey? Like I've always said, if you're planning a trip to go to Nigeria, or you're going to the West Indies, or you're going to Zimbabwe, or somewhere else, you're going to France, you're not thinking you're going from a journey from Britain to France, and you're not planning to enjoy yourself. You know, we hear in the news that academics, in terms of academics, a lot of children are stressed, they're getting stressed about their exams, and as a result, you're underachieving. And we think that is absolutely unnecessary. Children can do well, and a lot of the parents on this talk, their children have excelled exceptionally, but they still have a good, firm foundation, a good home, good relationship with their parents. And we thought we wanted to build that kind of support network where your children as well as our children can actually grow together and we can actually share some ideas. So really excited. Thank you very much for everyone who's come on. Thank you to all of those who are watching the replay also. So what we'll now do is we'll start with the introduction, and we'll start off with Nova. So Nova, if you could please introduce yourself and tell us about yourself and why you're on this program.
Well, first of all, hi, Donya. Thank you so much for inviting me to join this. I don't know if the word is phenomenal or some splendid lineup of thought leaders, really, in the space of family life and also how to make sure that our children are prepared. So, my name is Nova Samoy Abiona, and I'm known as the Relationship Change Catalyst. And you might be thinking, relationship, what does that have to do with education? But as Donya said, if you have to put forth a child that is prepared, who feels confident to excel in this world, you don't just want them to have book sense. You want them to have what we call also common sense, to understand what it is to love, to understand what it is to be appreciated, to understand what it is to value others and not just put themselves first. And the thing about looking at your relationship, and this is not, we're not just talking about that you should be a couple addressing the needs of your child, because we know they're single parents as well. However, if you have to work in partnership with your spouse, whether you all are together or not, you have to plan to really think of the strategy that you would use in order to move forward so that your child really understands what it is to have a great relationship with both parents and to see parents interacting in a healthy way so that your child feels confident about what they would do when they are an adult as well. So I hope that makes sense.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for your introduction, Nova. It's really a pleasure, delight, and an honor to actually have you on board. And like you say, you know, we are thinking about the relationships with our children, so that they've got book sense, like you say, but also that they are in thriving environments as well. So thank you so much for sharing that, because like we said, we want to build a rounded child, one that's happy at home, one that's happy in school, one that can excel at home, one that can excel in school as well. So thanks for the introduction. So now, Ida, if you would like to introduce yourself. I think your mic's on. They've put it on for you. Can you take your mic off?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep. Hi everybody. I have first of all to apologize about the quality of my voice. I haven't slept the whole day, hence the hoarse voice. I was saying to Donya, I sound like Marge in The Simpsons. So you're gonna have to take me as I am. When I don't sleep, my voice box swells up, so I end up really sounding very, very hoarse. I've been up for over 24 hours now, or 36 hours without sleep. However, I'm used to it because I'm a nurse, qualified nurse, but I'm also a midwife. I've been a midwife for 30 years now, so it's a long time. I should be stopping, but I'm also a business owner. I've owned children nurseries for quite a while, for the past 16 years. I have other business ventures as well. I'm into property as well. I focus on early years education mainly at the moment, simply because we're seeing a lot of dilemmas, which not only became a problem within our industry, in the nursery, our early years industry, but also nationally. I don't know if you're all aware that 1 in 4 children leave primary schools unable to read or write. Now that is dreadful. This is the first world. We're not in the developing country, we're in Europe, but 1 in 4 children leave primary school unable to read and write. The government is trying, but we're not moving there quick enough. I think the dilemma lies upon us, the parents. We're relying too much on the teachers, hence solutions are not coming out very, very quickly. You assume once you kiss your child goodbye, the teacher will do everything for you. No, but also the stage when we start to really focus on our children's future education should be from the word go, not at age 5, when you're dropping them at reception classes. So that's where I come in. I taught my children to read from the age of 2. Yep, exactly 2. By the age of 2 and I don't know, a month, they had several sentences already being read spontaneously. It can be done with any child. You don't have to have a high IQ. I'm just an average person, and I'm sure so is my husband, but it can be done. So I really focus on that and encourage parents, do something quite early. If your child cannot communicate, the future is very, very bleak. At a time when classrooms are 32 children per 1 teacher and 1 assistant, I really feel if your child has nothing to offer from the time they enter the reception classes, there'll be a lot of dilemmas way ahead. So you gotta start early. So that is my job, that's where I come in. My mission is really to get your child prepared way before they get into a nursery. That's how early you should start ideally. And then once you've got a good foundation, the future is bright.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Ida, for your introduction. And if you can quickly just tell us then, your son started at age 2, you taught them to read, and what do they do now, just very quickly, please?
Well, unlike any of you probably in the panel over there, I've been through the cycle and finished. So don't be jealous of me now. I worked hard. I'm a mom of 3 boys. My husband is from Nigeria. I'm not from there, but the principles are still the same. It doesn't matter where you come from. My 2 older boys are working. They graduated. They left actually primary school with 2 scholarships each to enter private secondary schools. So they had a choice there, which is fantastic. They went to Dulwich College, which is, we call it the Southeast Eton, or the Southeast of Eton, or whatever. Very, very prestigious. And I think once you go through that college, doors are open for any university out there as long as you continue with the same pace and the same quality of your academics. The third child is in his third year university. He's doing his master's in maths, physics, and computer science. And he's got quite a head start. He's also been touted by Google. So it's a lot of hard work, but it pays. The path is clear for him now, even though he's got 2 more years to finish his master's, but he's already got quite a choice of future career and ventures.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you so much, Ida. And the reason I asked that question is for those of you who are actually part of the course already. You can already see that in terms of the people, the speakers, and their credentials and what they're bringing to the plate. For those parents who have, when we did the questionnaire, people are interested in independent school. Obviously, we've got Ida, who will be talking about independent school, as well as early years where your children should be. Also raising children and ensuring, you know, this part we said today is about planning ahead, isn't it? And here we have someone 30 years as a midwife, earning quite a few nurseries, whose sons have actually finished that journey. And I just think it's just amazing to be part of that network where you have people, a variety of range of speakers who are now part of our network. Some have with young children, some have teenage years, children teenage, some of the children have actually gone through the journey, done that A to Z. So we know that it is possible for them to start well and actually finish well. And I think that is absolutely phenomenal. So I think we'll actually do a couple now. So Bode and Kemi, I don't know if you can on-mic yourself. Can you do that? Okay, fabulous. So if you could just introduce yourselves and what you do and why you're here and what your actual information you're going to give to everyone.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Kemi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bode.
And what we do, we run our own HR consulting practice called Inspired Concepts. And really, the whole aim of the business and even what we're doing tonight is born out of our passion to help people harness their gifts and talents and to maximize their potential.
Precisely. And we've been in this sort of space for quite a number of years, 20 odd years. We've also set up a similar business, recruiting for global organizations in emerging markets. We're doing the same thing here in the UK. So we've garnered a fair bit of experience understanding what the employers are looking for. And that's very critical. So you need to, like Donia mentioned earlier on, the theme around today's session is really around planning for the future. So, you know, you need to start thinking now, 15 years ahead, when my son or daughter is out of college or is out of uni, is he going to be getting phone calls from Google, like Ida's son is getting 2 years before he finishes school? Or is he going to be wondering, twiddling his thumbs and wondering, so what am I going to be doing next? The decisions actually are made now, you understand? And it's about understanding what's going on out there, even as you're preparing your child to get out there in the future. And so we bring a fair bit of experience at the client side. We've also worked with quite a number of individuals at different stages in their careers, trying to, because one thing we found out is that this is a fantastic forum. Frankly speaking, it's a fantastic forum. As the speakers began to speak, I just thought this is almost like you're building a legacy for the future. Somebody could be listening to this 3 years from now and it will be such a blessing to them, you know, because it helps to shape their minds about the decisions they make over quite a number of years. But I don't think too many of us in the panel or so many of us listening out there had those opportunities. Did anybody sit down with us much earlier on in our years, thinking about what would happen 15 years, or thinking about what would the career space be like in 15 years? What would a job, the word a job, what would it mean in 15 years' time? What would the employers be expecting from you? So that's a lot of what we look at in our session on this program, on this masterclass. But it's also a lot about a major part of what we do as professionals. And Kemi, she's been in HR all her life.
And I've also been a registered person at a nursery that closed down in August for over 8 years. I forgot about that, and I just remembered now that actually, yes, I could definitely identify and relate with some of the things that's been said earlier. But I think that for today as well, we are parents, and we're also on that journey. So it's really, I guess it's to learn together and to share some of the insights that we've learned from working with graduates to people that are already in established careers. And when all is said and done, I think it's really about preparing now ensures that each child has lots of options. And I think that failure to plan now leads to limited options, and that's really selling, you know, ourselves short and not preparing hard enough for our children, because I think that as custodians, we definitely have a lot of power in shaping their destinies and their career choices.
And I think the final thing to say is for us as parents particularly, is not to think this is a very structured environment, but we should never think that the system will take care of all the needs of our children. We have a responsibility with the system will not take care of it. And so we need to make sure we're on the ball with that.
Yeah, fabulous. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for all that you shared in terms of careers. And you know, you've got such an amazing system at StartRight that we're going to discuss later. And what's exciting, you know, I've said this is so unique. What's really exciting about having careers, especially for the parents who are there and they're thinking, oh, I'm at primary school, my children are at primary school, or they're just at nursery. What is the point of even talking to people who are, you know, doing careers now? And I think it's really interesting because every single child that I know, if you ask them, you know, around age 4 or 5, what do you want to do? They want to do something, even if they want to be a ballerina, a astronaut, they want to do something. So if you're able, for example, your child says, you know, I want to be a scientist, and there's no scientist in the family, here you are, HR, people in HR who can give you some speakers, who can give you some guidance and some ideas, or maybe introduce you to professionals that they know in different environment. So already your child is in a great network, a great area where they can get that additional support. Now the key thing is, as Bode and Kemi said, is even realizing that the environment is changing. And even if we're thinking our kids are still young, we as parents need to know and keep abreast of the what's actually happening in the environment. And something that's really key, and I'm passionate about this, and this planning ahead is kind of my thing that I think is so important. Those of you who listen to my Facebook Live will probably have heard this before. But I've said, for the people who say, oh, it's too early to start planning, you're just stressing the children, I always think, well, I really like the royal family because they actually, I look at them, I look at the establishment and I think, yeah, that shows what and how family should be. And if you notice in the royal family, there's kind of succession planning and there's legacy planning. And if you think, oh, it's too early to think about my child's future, I always say, when George was conceived, what was George going to be? Everybody knew that George was going to be a prince and was going to be a king. Yeah, or someday will probably be a king. You may abdicate, yes. But the point is, even from conception, they knew what the plan was for that child. And now that George is, you know, toddler going on, or is quite young in his early years, he's still being trained to be a king, and he's still being brought up in a certain way. And so I don't think that we parents should leave, like Kemi and Bode say, our children to a system and just think, oh, the schools will sort it out. The schools have lots of different issues. And in fact, when my children were young, I was told, and this is the reason why I built this Education Success Masterclass and this network, I was told very early on that is 80% parents and 20% school. I repeat, 80% parents and 20% school. And somehow, sometimes we seem to have it the other way around. And that's why our children have, you know, may go through lots of different issues sometimes. So we want to kind of change the rhetoric and change ideas and give people ideas as to how, you know, parenting is not easy, but we can all share how we do things, the different tips and different ideas. So now, before I go to the next set of speakers, you all have some of you will see it and some won't. In your chat, there's a chat area. I don't know if everyone could just type where they're actually coming from. So I can see quite a few people on the talk. I think if you're watching it on YouTube, unfortunately, you won't be able to actually type in. But whilst everyone's typing, where are you from? Where in London? Are you from Birmingham? So I don't know, Vanessa, if you want to type something in so people can see where they should type. And the speakers themselves, you know, which area in London are you coming from? If you could type something in the chat, that'd be great. So we know part of this is to ensure that we can hear you. And sorry, you can hear us rather. So where are you coming from? So if you can just do that in the chat area. Up. So you're in North London, West London. The great thing as well about putting what area you're from is that some of the speakers are from different areas as well. So maybe there'll be additional support there. If you're already part of the Education Success Masterclass, we have got a Facebook group, a VIP private Facebook group. So we'll be giving you access to that as well tonight. That's one of the things that will be happening, and a lot of the speakers are there, so you'll be able to message them, or we'll be sharing ideas and techniques. Yeah. So okay, so we'll go over now and we'll talk to Vanessa. So Vanessa, while people are typing in what they do, I don't know if you want to unmute yourself and then tell us about kind of your experience as a parent. I know, and like your daughter, she's done exceptionally well in her 11 plus. So I don't know if you would like to start off mentioning that.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, Happy New Year. As I said, my name is Vanessa. I'm a mother of 2 children, a son in mainstream school and daughter grammar school. They both passed their GCSEs early, before their time. Reason why I'm on this wonderful masterclass is just to give you some tips on how to guide your children through the 11 plus and how to achieve the highest grades possible. Also, how to make the most of which schooling system that you're in, whether it's in grammar or mainstream. As we've been saying all the way through, the thread through this whole wonderful webinar is how to plan ahead. My tip is have a game plan. You should have a game plan. Like Donya said, when Prince George was conceived, there's a game plan. You know, it doesn't matter what the outcome's going to be, there has been a game plan. So everybody's been saying wonderfully, we can't leave it to the school system. It's not fair on the school and it's not fair on our children as well as ourselves. So what I tend to do, one thing I did find out, when you have your game plan, you need to know what the school is doing. You need to know what their mindset is. I've always said, even though children don't always have a diary, the schools will always give you a planner. So use that planner. Whatever the school is saying, run with it. Even if you're thinking, hold on, this is a bit strange, but sometimes they put these little nuggets in and it's a structure of how to do things in the future. As you know, you and myself, we always have planners, diaries for appointments and things like that. When they have planners, it will help them. My children, as I said, they're both in different schooling systems, but we always communicate, work out what's going on, and we always have a game plan. I mean, you're not stressed them out. It's just that you know what they're doing, they know what they're doing, and if there are any problems, you can discuss it. So that is part of the game plan also. You must keep the discussion going. You must keep the communication going. I do work in education myself. I've been working within education for the past 11 years. I'm a communication support worker, so I allow children to have access to the curriculum. But I'm also a governor for a grammar school. So I'm a governor at a grammar secondary school, obviously, and I work in a primary school. So it is very, very rewarding. I do see both sides. So I see both mindsets. So it is so, so key, and it's so, so important that you don't leave it to the system. You don't leave it to, oh, they're going through a phase, they'll break out of it. Oh, don't worry. If you don't know the answers, we are here. You must network. You're not gossiping. You're not bickering. You find out, you know what you want for your child. You see the potential in your child. You know, when you looked into your baby's eyes, when they were babies, you knew what they were going to be. You saw what they're going to be. You might not know how they got there or what to do, what things should be in place, but you must have a game plan. You do not wake up in the morning and hope for the best. It's like the world wasn't created by, dropping something at the top of the hill, all these mad materials, and it became a building, it became a city. No, you had things in place. You had the perfect materials. You had the method and how to create that house. You didn't drop it and there it was, a beautiful forest, a beautiful garden. No, you had a plan. And this is exactly the same with your children. And as you're planning, forming, whatever, you need to enjoy it. It's so important to enjoy the journey. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not sure, you keep touching base with your children, or your network with like-minded parents, not any parents, like-minded parents. Go out and research. Your children are studying. If you're not sure, study with them. Keep networking. But as I said, this masterclass, you don't want to miss out. You will enjoy it. And we are here on the journey with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for that, for sharing your tips in terms of, like you say, having a plan. And that's really a good point to get across for everyone who's on board. Certainly, that's what we plan to do. We plan to help you to have a strategic plan for getting from A to Z. If you're just joining me, thank you so much for joining. I'm excited that this is how we're starting the beginning of the year as parents, thinking about how are we going to help our children to have a successful 2017 and beyond. Because as Caroline Marsh said, and she's one of the speakers who's actually on this program, and she was on The Secret Millionaire, and she said that, success isn't just something that happens. Success is actually intentional. And a lot of time in the news and on the newspaper, and if you focus on these things, if you're trying to plan for your children's success, you're being told, or you're given the impression that you're a pushy parent, or you're doing something wrong. But I can assure you that there are, because I do work with lots of different parents, lots of different families, lots of different people from different social classes, different ethnicity. The reason why certain people are told that they're being pushy and certain people are not told that they're being pushy is because there are classes and there are groups where planning for your child, succession planning, planning for them to do well academically, it's expected. So they don't necessarily see it as planning. They do it, but it's actually expected. And it's a bit like the program that Kemi and Bode does in terms of helping with careers, is that the particular program that they help, which they will talk about, which StartRight does, which is absolutely amazing. Private schools do that program in terms of understanding your child's personality and also how to get them in terms of their career. It's a standard. Yeah, I went to a independent school to talk to someone, and there was a lady there, and she said that it's a part success or children doing well. It's a part of something that it's not something that is just so out there, and we overcomplicate it and we overthink it. And that's exactly the way I feel as well. My child, your child, every child has a potential, and so we need to build that support network so that that potential that they have is unleashed. And we need to build that support network to bring out the best out of our children. And we need to build that support network so that our children enjoy their childhood, and so that you enjoy the journey as well. And it is said that it takes a village to raise a child, and this education success masterclass is a very serious village, you know, and it's got early years specialists, it's got family relationship specialists, it's got people who are talking about self-confidence, it's got parents whose children are thriving in a comprehensive system, it's got parents whose children are thriving in the independent school system, it's got parents whose children are going to top independent schools, it's got parents whose children have actually got 100% in the Kent exam, like Vanessa's children did, and passed their GCSEs very early. So when I say that, these are top experts, top achieving students, and also, yeah, we had Dami and Shantae. They actually did one of the talks. So in terms of the way the system work is that you will get access to videos that will be drip fed over a couple of days and over a couple of weeks, and these videos will be from different people. We've got independent school head teacher explaining the system in a school, how to unleash your bright child. We've got people talking about how their children got 100% in terms of their Kent test, how to prepare them for their grammar school. We've got experts talking about scholarships. We've got experts talking about early years. And really one of the things that excited me, so wide range of things. One of the things that really excited me was Dami and Shantae. They are high achieving students, and they spoke about how they got there first, and they both got first. And that will, for those who are already on the program, already signed up, that's going to be one of the first videos you got. Even if your children are 8 and 7 or whatever, just the things that they mentioned just showed that success is intentional and success is the same, regardless whether you're entrepreneur, an adult, or a child. And Dami said one of the most important things that made him get his first was something that he did with us on our program, which was to have a 1-year, 5-year, 10-year plan. And Shantae said the same as well about planning her day. And that is just, time management is just key all round. So they're sharing their ideas, and you're getting that at the very end to know that actually if you watch these videos, and even if you're a child and you help to implement some of it in your child's life now, it will make a difference in terms of what they achieve and how they achieve in their class. So I'm really excited because these are proven steps, these are proven formulas. You and I don't have to make it across from the A to Z, the ocean, paddling in our own boats. You've got people with their cruisers, captains who've already cruised across, done the journey many times, and they're showing you and showing me how to actually do it. And even I'm learning from these guys. So it's like you have your own 24+ mentor, and that's really, really exciting. So I'm now going to come to Tineke. Tineke, if you tell us about what you talk about and what you train about in the program.
Hi, yeah, my name is Tineke, as Donya said, and I'm a mother of 4. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when my kids arrived, none of them arrived with a label that told me what to do with them. So parenting is one of those things that you learn along the way. And I do agree with what Donya and other people have said about the parent being responsible. There's no way around it. We are responsible for our children, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Yes, the education system helps us. Yes, people around us help us. There's networks, there's support systems, but ultimately we are responsible for our children. Now, what I'm going to be talking about really is about raising confident children, because I believe strongly that if you have a child that is confident, they're more likely to do better. They're more likely to be willing to try things. And so I think it's really important that your children are confident. And to be fair, with the way the world is and the things that they have to face, their confidence needs to come from you. So I'm going to be talking about that, and I'm very excited about it. I'll give you a few points, key points about it. But another thing I wanted to say is when you have children in the education system, it's really important that you get involved. Now, Vanessa said she's a governor of a school. I'm also a governor of a school. But even before I became a governor of a school, I was involved in the PTA, which meant that I had inside information because I was closely involved with the teachers and what was going on. They would tell me things that other parents didn't know. So please don't shy away from getting involved in your children's school. And I think that's what I'll say for now.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tinike, because we will come back to that in terms of the tips that we are sharing. And, you know, some of the stuff, it's really straightforward, or you may have heard it before, but you didn't really understand the implication of it. So, for example, being a governor and being part of the PTA, I'm also part of the PTA. And like Tinike said, there's just so much that you can learn, you can know. It's also about building relationship as well. And it's even proven that if you're part of the PTA, your children will do better at school because they know that the parents will know straight away what's actually going on in the school. So you find that they behave themselves a bit more. So there's so many benefits and so many ideas and so many tips that people are going to share. And I just think that's phenomenal. So now I'm going to come over to Tosin and Titi. And we do have over 24 speakers. We don't have all the speakers on today, but these speakers who are on are varied as well. So that's really really exciting. So Tosin and Titi talking about the involvement of dads and the importance of dads. Families working together, parents working together, but Tosin has a real strong emphasis on the importance of dads. So all the dads out there and all the mothers who want to get the dads on board, this is a great masterclass with some amazing tips as to how it can happen. So, Tosin, if you now to unmic yourself. Hello. Okay, so whilst we're waiting for Tosin to unmic, what we will do then is just talk to just very quickly, speakers, in terms of the importance of. Oh, you're on mic now?
Yes, I am now. Yeah,
okay, all right, great. Are we having a video of you all or just the audio?
Say that again.
Are we having a video of you or just the audio?
It's a video.
It's a video.
No, we can just see your picture, but yeah, we can just see your picture. Okay, so we'll let you continue then. If you just give us some, in the meantime, whilst we sort out the video, if you could just give us some ideas about family involvement and dads being involved, because I think what you have to say and what you've said in your training program is just really powerful. So just hand over to you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, my name is Tosin Williams. My wife.
I'm Titi Williams.
We are pastors by the grace of God, and then my wife also, she runs a full-time job with the NHS, and then we have a business that we do on the side, manufacturing menswear and also mobile accessories. I'm glad you are part of this this network, and I know you will really be equipped to get on to make your child or your children successful. We talked about strong family system. A strong family is very, very important for the success of your children or your child. There must be a very, very strong family system. You can't do anything without that. It's very, very important. It's one of the bricks that you need to build for that success to come to reality. If you're going to have that success, you need to build that bridge now. And if we're talking about planning ahead, you need to start doing it right now. Start making your family strong. And, you know, one of the things I talk about, which I know we're about to talk, maybe we'll talk about it later, or maybe I just talk about it now, is parenting is a joint venture. It's a joint venture. And there's a phrase that my wife and I, we coined out for when we talk about family, when we address families, we say, Adam, where are you? You know, there's been a lot of fathers' role being missing these days. because they go out to work and they come back and then they expect the mother to just take care of everything, and the home should just be made, everybody should just be okay, while they're not involved at all. There is a need for you fathers. I'm the one telling you now. There is a need for you fathers to be involved. If you want to see the success of your child or your children, you need your part. Daddies, we need you. You got to come on board. We can't have you at the backyard or at the background. We need to see you in the front line. You need to lead this family. You need to lead these children to the successful point that they need to be. What do you?
Well, we can't raise children by default the way I think probably we could have got away with that maybe many years ago. Parenting needs to be, that would involve the two people, seemingly, who are parents of the child. Now, whether or not they're married is of no consequence. Obviously, if they are married, since we are dealing with involved parenthood, then all the better. But whatever the case may be, it took two people to make those children. It's very important to have both mom and dad on board. Communication is the key.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, moms, dads, make sure you're communicating with your children, whatever age. They could be 2 months old, they could be 2 weeks old. Communication is key.
No, we leave the rest of the point until
the main program.
The main program. But I assure you that you are in for the best time of your life. And whenever you're watching this this broadcast, I tell you what, you will not regret it. Absolutely. We've been part of it, and then that's blessed our family as
we've
well.
Learned a lot.
You know,
we've learned a lot. Well. It's a learning curve.
I mean, learning is something you never grow out of anyway. You keep learning and keep learning and keep learning. The day you've actually learned everything, I think that's the day you drop dead and you finally leave the earth. Yeah. So as long as you're on this planet, you keep learning. Even as we have been here now, we are learning as well from people on this panel. So come on, please. You are in for the best time of your life. Over to you, Donia.
Yeah, thank you very much. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to kind of start with you on that point. Now, in terms of your one of the tips that you actually share in when you actually do the training. So with those people who are going to do the training or considering coming on the Education Success Masterclass, which actually obviously we're starting with this launch, talking about what it is that we're going to do. We are going to tomorrow be tonight sending some links out, but certainly tomorrow you'll get access to a membership area where you will get access to varied videos. And because we now have a 30-day, 90-day and a 6 months different, we have different packages over 30 days, 60 days and 90 days access that you can actually come on the program. We're actually going to drip feed some of the content. So we're constantly going to be speaking with you. We're able now to offer you more support because it's not just 24 hours. So what that will look like and what that will mean is that you'll have access to these videos. You'll have access to some, there are over 24 speakers, in fact, up to about 30 different training sessions. And like we say, some of it is to do with self-confidence, 11+, GCSE, getting into Oxford University via a scholarship and the bursary. We've got Nick talking about taking tours and trips to Oxford and Cambridge. And in fact, he has one coming up on the 14th of February. So if you were one of those people who actually got your tickets already, what we actually said, one of the bonus was that you could get a chance to actually win a ticket to actually, which is over £70 for your child to actually go on a trip to, I think it's Cambridge that they're actually going to. So this week, what we will do is we will send out so that you will know who the contestant, who's the winners, who actually won. So thank you for those who knew about this before and actually got their tickets before. So we'll let you know about the winners for that. What we will also do as an additional bonus, now we've actually put this in, every Tuesday for at least the next 4 weeks, we'll actually, either myself and a speaker, or definitely myself, will come on board, and we'll actually do some planning sessions. Now, planning is really, really important, and that's really one of our focusing, like we said. And what I will do is lots of different ideas in terms of planning. One of the key things that I'm focused on is vision boarding. So I don't know if any of you do vision boarding with your children, so we'll talk about that. This is the boys' vision board. One of them, you can see money's on there. They want to raise a certain amount of money by the end of the year. I think one was the target was 100 and something, and I think he surpassed that. So I actually do some training, get you to understand how why vision boarding is important. Well, it's not actually vision boarding is important. Why having, I believe strongly in starting from the end. Where does your child say that they want to get to? And my strongest kind of, or one of my power tips for those who are on board who want to motivate their children. I believe in self-motivation, and I personally like my life being as easy as possible. Hence I say I will go on the cruiser and not build my own ark or my own paddling boat, unless God say build the ark, like obviously then I will do that. But otherwise I would rather not build my own ark. I'd rather just go with a person who already knows, a mentor who has you know, the steps and the guidance, and can actually show me the way. And I surround myself with lots of mentors. I'm in groups, lots of different groups, so that I know how to get to that place very quickly, and they can guide my children, and I can reduce my risk. That's the key thing. So yeah, so one of the things in terms of a PowerPoint, power steps, and I hope that you're writing this down. So we're talking about what the course is about, but we're going to give you now some very serious power steps that you can actually even start implementing from tonight. And my one is always start with the end in mind. What does your child want to do? And what's great about asking your child about what they want to do and speaking to your children is that you start building a relationship with them, and communication is going to be key. So what does your child want to do? That's one of my, in terms of my power step. What universities do they want to go to? Yeah. Now, people will say to you, oh, you don't need to actually know what university they need to go. They're really young. When I say what university they want to go to, okay, I'll start back. With my sons, when they were 6 and 8, I said to them, what do you want to be? And they said, oh, I want to be an engineer and I want to be a doctor. And I said, okay, this is what they say. They're young, but that's what they say. So I said to them, because they could use the iPad, like I just said, read from age 2, they could use the iPad from 2. So I was like, okay, go on the internet, find out what you want to be and what do you want to do. And how you're going to get there. They did some research and they came back and they were like, mommy, I've done my research. I need to go to university. I need to go to college. I need to do GCSEs. And they're young, but it's not me forcing them. They said they want to do this. I say, go and do some research, find out more. And then they actually, like you said, went on the internet. And then I said, which university do you want to go to? They did some universities. And they came up with some ideas as to which university they wanted to go to. And then what I did, because they were young then, I then said, you know, it's kind of a distant concept, isn't it? What do you want to do? How are you going to get there? I said to them, find pictures of it then. So find pictures of what you want to do, where you want to be. So, for example, he wanted to be an engineer and wanted to be or an architect, and they found some Black architects in America who was doing exceptionally well in terms of their business, and they stuck the pictures on the vision board. So the way the vision boarding, and I'm going to teach you how to do it, is useful for young people, children, or even adults, is that the pictures that you put on make it a bit more real. Yeah, so they're seeing something visual. And so they stuck all these, which schools you want to go to, they stuck all these things, and every single year we do a new vision board and we discuss, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? So now the benefits of something that like this is that those boys are self-motivated. I do not ever have to tell my 11-year-old to do his homework. In fact, I don't have to tell the younger one to do their homework. They just get on and they just do it. Why? Because when they were younger, they said, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer. And they got pictures of it. They saw that it was real. They saw what grades they needed to get to. I don't have to be over them, do your homework, do this, do this. They are self-motivated because that's what they've decided they want to do. Yes, they may change their minds, but at least now they know the process of how to find out. If they change their mind and say, okay, I want to be an astronaut, this is the same process. Go on the internet, find out what you need to be an astronaut, find some pictures, put it on your vision board and stick it on your wall, and let that be your focus. And if ever they were like, oh, I'm not sure I want to do any work, I will say, well, you said you want to be a doctor. Go look at your aspirations and your dreams. So it's making it a bit more real to them. So I will show you and explain to you how to keep children motivated. I've been working with children for over, and in children youth ministry, teaching myself for over 20 years. And one of my key strengths is how to motivate any child, how to motivate them. And I think the best way of motivating a child is intrinsic, making that thing that they want to do with it come from within them, not parent-led, but child-led. And them having a big why. Why should they do it? Why should they do their homework? If they have a big why outside and they've got a long-term vision, that Z in mind, they will actually work towards it. So I'm talking about kind of like in and around the things that I'm going to be talking about, motivating any child, even during 11 plus, SATs, just mindset, changing their mindset. And then I'm going to go back to Tosin, because I think what he does also complements what he was talking about. One of these power steps that he talked about, actually, I just thought was really powerful in terms of having a great relationship with our children, and why it's important and why it will even help them academically. So Tosin, I'll come back to you then in terms of your power step for the parents. One power steps, for example, that you discuss and share.
All right, thank you very much. One of the things that we talked about as a power step is parents, you need to keep a scorecard.
Mm-hmm.
You need to keep a scorecard with, your children, spending time with them. You need to spend time with your child, individual child now.
Individually and then collectively. So each child, you need to be able to spend, some time with specifically. You basically, when we say a scorecard, now for you that may or may not be a scorecard. But if you want to keep a physical scorecard, then absolutely go ahead, because, well, you can't go wrong with that. So what we're basically saying is you're ticking off something because you need to spend that time with your child. So you do say to yourself, well, how much time have I spent with this particular child? So let's say you have, I don't know, I have 3 children. And let's say you have 3 or perhaps 4 children, yeah? And you want to, check how much time did I spend with this particular child. So let's say child A. So you want to think back throughout the week, did I spend a quality 30 minutes with child A? So child A separate from child B, separate from child C, or however not many number of children that you have. So you basically want to actually keep a scorecard that says, I spent this amount of time with this child, because you help not only to develop your child's confidence, you're building a proper relationship, a network, and you give them confidence as well as they grow up into adults, or however long that takes. I'm sure that takes a while. They build confidence as individuals, and then of course into adulthood. They have strengthened their relationship with other people, and it strengthens their relationship with each other, and then with you, the parents, and of course.
And we saw a video a couple of weeks ago of this young boy who wanted to have a time with his father, but the father was very busy with work, busy with its football game, busy with TV and some other things like that. And he was always having this response for this boy. It's a ready-made response, not now, son, not now, son, not now, son. And when this boy, he grew up with this not now, so the father had no time with this boy. Now the boy is going to uni or going out, and he joined the bad gang, and then with hood on his head and trying to smoke. And the father, when I want to have a time with him, say, hello, son. The boy responded to his father. Not now, Dad. So you need to spend time with your child. You need to, because you are the mirror image. They want to learn a lot from you. And there's so much out there that is teaching our children. If you're not careful, the TV is there, the society is there, the friends are there. But when you take time and you measure how much time you spend yourself, you be the judge to yourself. Because sometimes when we see some serious issue, then we want to talk to our children. But when there was nothing serious, have you spent time with them at all?
Why should they listen?
Why should they listen? That's right. Why should they listen to you? When it's not nothing dangerous, nothing serious happening, where you're just sitting there hanging around with them. They need to know that you are there. And while you are there, you don't know, you are motivating them into doing something. You're just talking about how your day's been, what you're doing, how you're trying to achieve your own goals, your personal goals. They are picking one or two things from you. So you need to keep something. I would advise you to keep a physical scorecard for yourself, that you are ticking the boxes yourself. Okay, for this Monday, I didn't spend any time at all. Tuesday, I was very busy. Wednesday, it was somehow. Thursday is really off my power. Friday, then you can tell yourself, oh, what am I actually doing? Am I building somebody else's family and losing my own family? Am I building somebody else's business, somebody else's career? You spend a couple of hours at work and then you come back, you branch at this, you branch at that. By the time you go back home, they're already in bed. And so you need to look at that as something you need to change, as a plan to get your children to have the success they desire, or they deserve rather.
Thank you so much for sharing that and for sharing that tip. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate that. And Tosin and Titi's daughter also passed a number of grammar school exams as well. So I'm sure they'll have even more to explain and share how they actually manage that with the having 3 children, and also you know, how their workload as well, because they do travel, having ministries in Zimbabwe or in Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and a few more places as well. So there'll be a lot that they'll be able to share. So again, if you're just joining us, thank you, welcome. Our aim in the Education Success Masterclass is to build well-rounded, academically excellent children who are getting into best schools, best universities, top colleges, by getting top experts to actually speak to us, to give us ideas, to ensure that your children's dreams are met, with career guidance actually being reduced in school or absolutely non-existent. Sometimes parents not having those networks as well to help their children. The children want to be doctors, they want to be lawyers, they want to go into medicine, having no one to talk to. We have got on board nurses, professionals, people who can give career guidance, ideas. But also, when they do get the grades, or if your child is getting the grades, we want to ensure that they have the confidence to actually get into those universities or those places. I remember working with a young lady, and she got 21 A stars and A grades. And I remember she coming back and saying, and she spoke Mandarin and she did lots of different activities. And I remember her coming back and telling me actually, oh, she didn't get into Oxford. And for a long time, I thought, wow, was it implicit bias? How can a child 21 A stars and A not get into Oxford? And then eventually I realized that it was to do with self-confidence as well, because those universities are not just looking for book knowledge, like Nova was talking about, book knowledge. They're looking for confidence. They're looking for people who are, you know, outwardly going, who have got a lot in terms of their contribution as well. So I will go over having talked about confidence, and I'll move over to you, Tinuke, now. If you could just talk about that one power tip that you share and you explain, and thinking about how parents can apply it to help their children to do well academically and do well in life. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think the one power tip that I will give is to give your child a healthy sense of self-worth. And what I mean by that is, you need to believe in your child, because if you believe in your child will believe in themselves. It's that simple. If you don't believe in them, who's going to believe in them? You may be lucky to find someone out there that believes in them, but really, you need to believe in your child. No matter how bleak it looks, believe in your child. If you believe in your child will believe in themselves. And if they believe in themselves, the world is their oyster. They can do anything. So please, 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 the power step that I would like to share is believe in your child. And to relate it back to what Donya said about academics, if they believe in themselves, they will believe that they can go to Oxford. They will believe they can go to Cambridge. They will believe that they can do whatever they want to do, be whoever they want to become, because they will know that actually, you know what, I can do this. And the reason that they will get that is because they know that you believe that they can do this. So it's very important that we, from the beginning, from when they're born, we don't need to wait till they're much older, from the day they're born, believe in them, begin to encourage them, begin to show them what they're good at, to encourage them in the things that they do well, and just show them that actually, you know what, you can do it, and I believe you can do it. And you may fall on your way, you may not make it all the time, but you can still do it. That doesn't omit the fact that you can do it. You can do it. You might not have done it this time, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. Try again. You can do it. Just believe in your child.
Thanks, Tunike. And you, what I really like about, thank you so much. What I like about what the speakers do is they show very practical examples. So it's not just theory. Tunike breaks it down and she shows examples of how you can believe in your child and your children and ensure they realize that you do actually believe in them. So I'll come over to Ida now. If you, in terms of early years and doing well, so thanks, Tunike, doing well in early years and primary school, give us some like practical examples and tips of your power steps. That could be in reading or any aspect.
I would go back to what I said earlier is, again, exactly what everybody else has touched on, is the initial planning. From the time your child is able to focus on you and can hear your communication, you have to keep up with that communication with that baby throughout. Now, sadly, having run so many nurseries for so many years, most of our community with the ethnic minority, we tend to look at the child as just like you have a contract. You feed the baby, change the nappy, bring up the wind, and then put him or her down. And that's about it. You've done your job. We see it over and over again. Again, being a midwife is exactly the same. I work in so many labor wards for so long. When you look at our other counterparts, they actually talk with the baby, a newborn baby. They'll make sounds and talk and so forth. In our case, we don't tend to do that. I know it's completely different from our community, but I think it's about time we actually did copy what they're doing is right. That is a form of early communication. What we call pushy moms, they start baby signing quite early, from 8 months. Baby can tell you, I want milk, my bottom is wet, or I got a full nappy, or I want to sleep, I'm tired. Words don't come out, they just use sign language. Now, it's not being pushy, it's just maintaining that level of communication at that level of the child's age. Of course, when the child then starts talking, which would be quite early because he or she is so eager to bring out the words. Like my eldest son was talking from the age of 9 months. I don't know if any of you have had the same experience, but I was just eager to see him make sounds and say something. And luckily he did. It doesn't stop there. By the time some people start reading from the age of 18 months of a baby's age, which is incredible. So once you are able to communicate with a child verbally, do everything you can to use that moment. We all know if you're teaching your child languages, for example, from the age of 0 to age 5, they can take in up to 5 languages or so. But once they go past the age of 5, it becomes a little bit harder to teach them foreign languages. So make the most of it. I did that. In fact, what I did, as an example, I wanted them to have French as second language. I grew up in Canada, so French was my second language. And I wanted them to have the same thing over here. Since I don't speak Yoruba and don't speak another language very well, I took in a French au pair purposely for that reason. When the boys, the older boys went to school and they came back, there was no more English. Once they got back home, it was just French until they went to bed. That was the au pair's rule. I didn't ask her, I didn't tell her. It was just, she made her own rule. So my 2-year-old then had to follow suit because he was at home with the au pair at least about 4 days a week or so. He went to nursery very, very part-time. He learned French fluently in no time. And that became a second language. Just like Vanessa, my kids had their GCSEs a year early, all 3 of them. And French was one of the subjects, and maths and English, because I was so determined that they would use the opportunity. The other thing, again, with early years, I'm going back to our community. We see a lot of children, at least I know I see, and I can vouch for that, where they are heard, but they're not spoken with. It's more like, you want a biscuit, I'll give you one, and that's it. Now the child hasn't had a chance to open a mouth or to indicate I want a cookie instead of a biscuit, or I want a piece of toast. Mom just speaks for the child. So, because when they come to our nurseries by the age of 3 or even 2.5, they don't have much vocabulary at all. And it doesn't matter whether they're learning Yoruba or Igbo or English. It doesn't matter. The child has to be speaking something. But if you go on speaking for the child, then we're not helping them at all. Of course, when you then assess the child, which we do assessments throughout and send them to the local borough, we are putting down exactly what we see on the child, even though mom would say, oh, but at home he speaks. But we don't see him speaking in the nursery. So we're only going to write the truth. So the child is being labeled quite early as being a little bit behind, even though the child is doing very well at home. Now, it's going to be the same dilemma in primary school, sadly. The teacher will only follow what the child presents with. Now, as a very, again, maybe you can call me a pushy mom, I studied the entire syllabus of primary school where my 2 older boys went. We were executing, and the plan, like Vanessa said, we were doing a year early of every primary school year. We were ahead. By the time they go to, I think it's year 6 now, they call it, we had finished the entire primary school syllabus. So we had a whole year to play with all 3 of them. So the entire final year of primary school, we were just doing past papers. We were buying books from Foyles in central London, any kind of, books for secondary school. We were just buying them. It didn't matter whether it's with the right age or not. Can my child do it? If you can, learn. We can still do it. That was my principle. I'm not a teacher. I'm just a midwife and a nurse. But it came to me very spontaneously. I was determined. My kids will go farther than what I have done. And that was the determination. If I go back to what Pastor said as well about 2 parents working together, yes, you're absolutely right. However, if you are in my kind of family where my husband works very long hours, he's hardly ever there. I think it's important for moms to realize you can still do the same with just you being the mom and the dad and still get good results. Even if dad is there, but if dad is not quite one of those people who's very capable of dealing with the curriculum and homework with the children, I think it's nice that the child gets one parent who can do it well with them rather than get a confusion in that house. And that's how it was in my house. Daddy bought the books. I executed all the paperwork and the homework and the monitoring and everything else. And it worked well for us, despite having 2 parents there. It's no point pushing another parent who probably is not into it at that time because his work comes first. When it came, sorry, about to finish. When it came to, if I go towards the end of primary school, we were now aiming for, getting ready rather for GCSEs. Rather than waiting until you get into secondary school and so forth, it's always forward planning, way ahead, way ahead. And that really worked for us.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Ida. I mean, the great thing, again, like we're saying, in being in such a network and a group, is to have people who are lateral thinking, who are thinking outside of the box, outside of what we're told in the newspaper, outside of what we're told in schools. Not anti-schools, because some of us are teachers. I'm a trained teacher, but it's really that focus that we are parents and it is their children are our responsibility and we are their first teachers. We are the people who will see them when they change their teachers. We are constant in their life from beginning to end. And so therefore we have to take responsibility. At the end of the day, we cannot say it was Miss So-and-so's fault that this happened to this child. And if Miss So-and-so said something to your child that was negative, it's up to you and I as a mother or father or parent to counter that because of the relationship we have, like some of the speakers have said. What I absolutely love about having a group of 24 experts or high achieving people is that they come with varied experience and varied expertise. And so a mother or father or married couple can say, actually, this is what is happening in my house. And another speaker can say, this is what is my experience personally as a parent. And so you who are watching this can think, actually, my experience resonates with that person. But I'm in the UK, and there's no way to go and talk about that I'm facing from a cultural perspective. I may find that I don't have necessarily a strong network like that in my church or community around. Then you're not alone. You know, you've got people like Nova she's raising all girls. Ida's raised all boys. Some parents in the network just have one child, so they can tell you how, and you know, in terms of how they raised that an only child to be strong, to be thoughtful, to have empathy. Yeah, there's parents who are raising children from different cultures. It's just so exciting to have a network of people who are sharing, like I say, very, very practical ideas, and they're sharing practical proven steps that they have followed that you can actually follow through. So now I'll come over to you, Nova.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, so my power tip or step that I would speak about is to do with having passion. And it's not just having passion for your children, but letting your children see that you have passion in different aspects of your life. And when I talk about passion, I'm talking about showing them that you have a drive, a vigor, the things that you do with joy. So let's think about passion in terms of work. When you go to work, does your child see you looking like you're heading out the door with doom and gloom? Or do I have to go there again? Or do they see that you're doing it with an intention to make sure that I enjoy my day, that I add value to someone else's life? Because they're looking at those things. Then if you think about having passion even in your faith, if you're somebody who you're grounded in your faith, it's all well and good for your child to see, well, this one is a big one, especially for people who are faith-based. They have so much vigor and drive for that, but then they might be complaining about the job, or they might be complaining about the house chore. You have to really try to get the balance. So even spending time on your own personal growth, are you passionate about being your best self every time? And people not saying, I remember how great she was 20 years ago. That's not the kind of person that you want your child to be looking at and emulating, because whether you like it or not, you are your child's mentor. Equally, because of course I speak about relationship, do you have passion for the relationship that you have with your spouse? And this doesn't mean your spouse may not be the child's biological father, but your child is looking. And if you're not in a relationship with anybody at all, and you have a child and you have a relationship with the child's father, do you approach the relationship in a way that the child sees what it is to have respect? Even if it's one-sided, maybe your spouse might have been somebody who was difficult to get along with, but for the sake of the children, can they learn from you that approaching this person, especially from what they could see, is an attitude that they would want to follow? So if we get down now to supporting your children, it's one thing to be passionate about being a mom and having a relationship with your child, but it's also another thing to be passionate about offering support to that child. And the reason why it's important is because you have to understand that a child, of course, their needs change with time. So if you are not passionate about helping to see your child grow and to move forward, then it means you might be passionate about one area. For example, there's some parents who they're very good at maths, so they're passionate about helping their child with maths, or they're very good at sports, so they're passionate about helping their child with sports, but everything else suffers. Everything else the child has to kind of do on their own. The areas that you might find difficult, which I understand that could happen, you have to be willing to go and seek out places where you could get the knowledge and the insight that you need so that you could help that child to move forward in that particular area. And I understand as well that as parents, not everybody enjoys parenting as a whole. For example, Maya Angelou, the late great Maya Angelou, said that she did not enjoy parenting her child in her early years. She didn't enjoy being a mother of a little baby. However, from the time her daughter was a teenager and older, she really enjoyed that relationship. Now, does that mean that you abandon your child in the enjoy? No. You seek to get knowledge and insight that would help you to be the best parent that you could be, moves along the spectrum of their growth and their life progress. You know, and I'll give you an example of something that I did. As Donia said, I have three daughters. I have a 17-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And when my 17-year-old was about 6 years old, I noticed one of the notes that came home from the teacher was saying that she could count from 1 to 20. And I was thinking, she could count from 1 to 20. I know she could count from 1 to 100. Why are you writing that? So because of that, and because I noticed that the table that they had her on, that's the way they do it in the UK. You are either on the top table, second, third, fourth table. They do more work with children that are on the top table. And my daughter was not there. So I said to her name is Shinova. I said, Shinova, do you want to go on the top table? She said, yes, mommy. And what we did was we decided to go to the shop together. We bought books, 21 books. But what we did was we bought books from, even though she was 6, from 3 to 4, straight up to 9 to 10. And we started working in those 21 books on a daily basis, going through stuff. Every day she had to go through and do different things until, I'm telling you, in a matter of a few months, the time came for her to go to another level in school, and the teacher approached me saying, we're going to take your child and put her on the top table. Since then, it's made it so easy for her to understand the importance of learning and growing, because I started with books at age 3 to 4, she was enjoying just doing the work because it was simple. And she didn't even realize when she passed things that were her age range and went to higher. And you know, because of that foundation, she is now in grammar school, and we found out just today that she is now the head girl at her grammar school. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter where you're starting. If you approach how you help your child in a way of you're bringing passion, you're bringing joy, you're bringing drive to see your child move forward, you're bringing passion to your relationship, your work, your child will learn that all these areas are important. And so that's my power tip.
Thank you so much, Nova, for sharing that. And interestingly, actually, I will mention this. Nova she's obviously an author, and she also does a lot of work internationally as well. So speaking in different countries in Trinidad, speaking in the US. So also a motivational speaker, speaking on parenting, wives as well. She's known as the chief wise wife. But the reason I kind of touched on what you were saying, Nova, is because your daughter, Shinova, is also a international entrepreneur. So she sells products abroad and provides services abroad. And how old is she?
She's 17 now. She started in business when she was 9.
So I missed that.
She started in business when she was 9 years old. She started doing jewelry business, and now she has a voiceover business where she has clients in, like, I think about 16 countries now.
Yeah, so that's just, even that in itself is just phenomenal, to be in a network with a parent whose daughter has, you know, Nova talks about the stability of the family, but she also talks about helping her child from a young age. And now her child actually, Shinova, actually doing so well in different countries. So even, I'm sure, in one of the talks, Nova, we'll get Shinova to talk about enterprise, how to help on children do enterprise from a young age, if that's okay. All right, fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. Now, if you're on the you're watching this, and thank you very much for watching and staying on. If you have any questions, there is a chat, and you may see the chat going down. Please do ask your questions there. We're here to answer. So one of the question is about how it will this will actually work. So just to quickly recap, we have over 24 speakers, and the speakers have all given seven power tips. And on those power tips on their topic, be it how to do well in 11 plus, how to do well in GCSEs, how to do well in terms of time management, how to do well making that transition from A levels to university, how to get into the best universities, top universities. Nick does that. Professor will probably do a live webinar on in terms of scholarships. All of them will give you 7 practical power tips showing how to actually get your child from A to Z, things that have worked for them, and giving you practical ideas. And those power tips, those are in video, so you'll get those either in videos or live webinars, and we'll tell you when the live webinars are. And if you're joining us a bit later, he said that as an additional bonus, every single week, at least for the next 4 weeks, we'll actually be doing a Tuesday webinar with either one of the speakers or myself, looking at planning or talking, or actually going through talking in greater depth with one of the speakers about a particular topic, be it how to pass 11 plus and answering some of your questions. So you'll get access to the 2 videos, like I say, and those videos, because we're doing it longer now, over a 30, 90 or 6 month period, depending which one you choose to come on board. If you're not on board yet, you will actually get access to those, and we will drip feed them. So we'll give certain videos over certain time, but you will have access to all of the videos by the time you decide, okay, I would like to do it for this. So for example, 90 days, for that 90 days you will have, yes, we'll put all the videos together, and certainly you will have access to all the speakers, not just one particular speaker. Also, what you have access to is the Facebook group as well. So we've invited the speakers, and if they are willing, and most of them are, they will be part of that Facebook group answering your questions. What we've done in the past with other VIP groups, so only those who come on the training course will actually get access to it. We then share information about 11 plus resources, about how to help your children to read. You can ask someone like Ida as to what resources you can use to help your child from early years to read. For example, you can ask questions and somebody in the group will answer. Even other parents will give you tips, and that's what's great about being in a VIP network as well, is that different parents will give you tips, and you'll be, actually, I like that one will work for me, I know the type of character, rather than just asking one person and they're giving you a question, or even just trying to find it out for yourself and not being sure or clear how to actually get to where you're going. So that's part of the offering. If you're, for example, if you're on the second program for 90 days, we're having a conference where all the speakers will, well, the vast majority of them will be invited to come along, and they will be running different workshops. So you get to meet the speakers at that event. So that's either in March or April. If you're on the other, if you feel like some people have, so if you've actually bought into the one-to-one report, we'll actually either run a webinar or a Skype, and you can talk about your child or your children, and we'll give you an action plan. We'll help you to develop an action plan from wherever your child is now to where they want to get to in terms of their career. So we will give you guidance in terms of which schools that they may want to, which school they want to go to, give you some ideas in terms of whether it be one of the speakers will know how to help you with independent school, how to help you think about scholarship. If it's 11 plus, we can help you in terms of 11 plus, how to approach 11 plus, when to. And the great thing again about being a network, because I've heard about 2 or 3 people say to me, oh, my child's going to do 11 plus, and they give a totally wrong time when the 11 plus is that their children's doing. So it's also having people to give you some guidance and ideas as to which websites to go on, but also timing. At what time should you start preparing your child for SATs, preparing your child for 11 plus, and how to? Because some very bright children don't pass 11 plus, so how to? So for example, the staff at EIE and Professor Chrissy Muffordon, who's going to be running on his webinars, will also talk to you about early years achievements as well. So without further ado, we'll just speak to the next 2 speakers. So just very quickly then, Vanessa, if you could please just tell us your power tip. Vanessa, your power tip, please.
Power tip. All right. One of the power tips I can give you is communication. Communication is vitally, vitally important. Communication on all levels, not just with yourself, you know, being true to yourself and what you think, what your worries are, what your fears are, but communication with your children, also communication with the school. Like I said before, it's very, very important to find out what the mindset is of the school. So you've planned ahead, you know, you've both got a game plan with your child, what you want to do. You've got to make sure it marries up with the school. So you must keep that communication going, keep it flowing, link up with the school, either become a parent governor or join the PTA, but take part in the events. When you've got parents' evening, don't think, oh, I'm not going to turn up, link up with me via an email or via letter, or I'll just read the report and our feedback. That's not enough. Go to the school, build a rapport so you know exactly what's going on. Because the school you might have selected, the secondary school you might have selected, they might not be pushy. They might say, oh, you know, your child's doing really, really well. And you find out that your child's doing a foundation stage of the exam. And from that, you may not know, parents, that if they do a foundation level in their exam, they will not get an A star, even though they get top marks in that paper. So you need to know exactly what's going on in that school. So also you need to know who the peers of your children, because from that your roles will change, like it or not. Your roles will change. So the school will have a little bit more influence over your child, like it or not. It's not just you and your child. The teachers now, from primary, it was just that one teacher. There's going to be a whole lot of teachers with the various subjects, and that will make impact on your child and on your relationship. So you need to know who their peers are, find out the mindset of the peers, as well as the teachers and the school. So also with the communication, there's going to be other factors coming in with the devices, like the tablets, the smartphones, or your normal mobile. You need to get a grip on everything. I'm not saying being a secret police. I'm not saying to be negative. Not even trying to frighten you. It's just that you are going on the journey together. So if you're going on that journey together, you need to embrace it, but you need to be true. And that communication thing is so key. So if you do hear any rumblings, you know, if your child said, oh, they just like start grunting at you, how was school? It was okay, or it's okay. That's not really enough. You're not interrogating them. Open up the conversation more. What did you learn today? Did you really understand it? You know, I'm not having a go at you. I'm not trying to catch you out. But build a rapport that, like I said, your roles will change. The dynamics of your communication will change. Don't be alarmed. Don't think, oh, I'm a bad parent, that's why they're snappy at me. You know they're going through the body change. You know they're going through the emotional change. It is a lot. Also, they're not dealing with 30 children now. They're dealing with 1,000. 1,000. That is a lot. And then they're going to think about their self-esteem. They're going to think about, do I look good? Do I sound good? Am I wearing the right uniform? I mean, obviously, uniform, that's another thing to worry about. It's more expensive for us. Yes, we probably not bought the designer or not even the proper logo. It doesn't matter, but that does have impact on your child. I'm not saying about pressurizing, about getting the high-tech uniform, but just keep the communication going. If you're saying, look, I can't afford the whole uniform range, just do what we can for this term and we could up it, that's fine, but you're in it together. Just keep communicating. If they don't understand their homework and they say they can't do it, write in their planner. So it doesn't hurt just to say, look, hands up, it's not that easy, or okay, what your friends' parents are saying. So I just say my power tip for this moment is keep the communication going on all levels. True to yourself, true to your children. Find out the communication method with the peers as well. Try to get in with the language, the lingo, when they say, oh, that's a neck or that's sick. You don't have to repeat it back, but just be aware of what's going on and how they're texting. Be aware of what's going on. If they are on group chats, if you can, this is what I've done with my children. My children don't have a smartphone. They have a normal phone. But I did say if they are in a group chat, they can use my number. So then you could keep an eye on what's going on. Then you've got the communication open. They know that you're aware of what the peers are saying because it's coming through in your phone, but give them the respect and the privacy. You're not exactly hacking in. You say, oh, a message has come through. As they are looking at the messages, you are over their shoulder, but you're being honest. So if you do see something a bit, oh, that's a bit off, you can discuss it. You're not going to fly off the handle. You can say, oh, that's not appropriate or whatever. But that's how I've got round it with my two children. So hopefully that should be helpful to all you. Back to you, Donya.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Vanessa. I think I've got some feedback coming from your thing for some reason. Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So communication tip. And the thing that all the speakers are saying, who are all raising high achieving children, who are doing exceptionally well, is that we're all in this together. And I think that's what's fundamentally different, unique, and about this particular program is that we're in it together. And we want you to realize that they can achieve academically, do well together, all of us enjoying the process. So over to you, Kemi and Bode, telling us about StartRight.
Your mic.
Okay, guys, sorry, while they are unmuting themselves, have you got it now? Yeah, no.
No, it's still off.
Okay, so whilst they're sorting that out, actually, their mic, one of the things that we are, hi,
can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay, apologies about that. So in terms of our part tip, and I'll tell you a bit about it in terms of how it then links to StartRight, is that it's important to identify the gifts, the talents, and the strengths that you've noticed in your child. So it's first identifying it, and then the second thing is to nurture the gift. So when I talk about identifying the gift, somebody might be thinking, how do I do that? I think it's pretty simple. The truth is most of us are already showing or using the gifts that we had from when we were, children. So for example, if your child loves to count, there's something in them with numbers. It might be that your child is a really good orator. For instance, I noticed something. When my mom died 4 or 5 years ago, my son had to give a speech, and there were hundreds of people in the room. And at the time, it was age 7. He went up, he was totally unfazed. And after the speech, everyone came to me and said, wow, we didn't know your boy could speak like that. I didn't know either. Actually, what had happened was he was always talking and telling stories. And I used to just think, oh God, this boy. So that was a fresh revelation for me. And immediately after that, what we did was signed him up to debating clubs, as well as a club that's quite famous, actually. I can't remember the names now, but oh yeah, Toastmasters. And in the last 2 years, he's won awards for Toastmasters every year. Now that links very nicely to part of what we're sharing through the program we're offering in terms of StartRight. Because StartRight is really about preparing your child to be able to engage in the career that reflects their natural bent, their strength. Talking in public very confidently is one of my son's strengths. And by encouraging in what is already a strength area, it makes it a lot easier. The other thing to say as well is that sometimes parents don't really take a good note of this, but identifying and keeping an inventory of all the awards that your child has gotten from when they were in the nursery, you can actually turn it into a spreadsheet. Because what that does is it begins to give you some ideas, some indications of the sort of areas where they're excelling, rather than you trying to force them into an area that you think they should be going into. So that's one example. A second example, again, using my son as an example, is I talked to you about how he loves chatting, talking to people. One of the things we noticed about him was that he always used to have all these pieces of paper scrunched up under his bed, on the table, everywhere. And I used to go on, tidy up, tidy up. But as time went on, we realized that those little scrunched up papers were actually characters that he created for different stories that he'd been writing. So what we did then was we thought, hold on, it looks like there might be something in this. And then a lot of times we say, oh, Mom, I just want to be an author. It's very creative. So what we did then was to encourage him, and he won an award last year. It was a national award, actually, for creative writers in all the schools in the UK, and it was in the top 20. So what we then decided, this is where we now talk about nurturing your child's talent, was to help him create a website that would have his stories. So he's written 40 stories now, and he's decided that he wants to write a book. During the summer period, we thought what would be helpful then would be also to get him to develop some website development skills. Because remember, like what Donia said, and everyone's alluded to, is you begin with the end in mind. We could have just paid someone to build a website for him. It would have been quick. It wouldn't have taken this long, but we decided that no, let's have someone come alongside him so that he can develop some IT skills along the way. So he's developing his website now, which we're really quite excited about. And at some point later on in the future, it's not a priority for us at the moment in terms of monetizing it. But what is priority is nurturing his passions and his talents, which ultimately will lead to success. So having spoken about that, let's come back to StartRight and how it links. We're very passionate about this because I would say that maybe it took a second or third attempt at the university before we both discovered our passions. Most people's first degree is not really what they want to do. It's just something to do and a tick box. We can change that for us, for our children, whilst we may not be able to change that for ourselves. And changing that for our children is to start early, to be intentional. So the product that we offer via StartRight, it's a workshop designed for parents and children. We have children coming from year 10, age 15, although there are children coming in year 9 now for the programs to help them identify some leanings, to gain a profile of what they're good at. Now, once they complete the assessment at the workshop, we have a profile, and then we have a one-to-one with them, just going through the potential career choices. Now, somebody already said before that, firstly, schools do an excellent job. We must appreciate and celebrate that. But you'll agree with me that there's been a lot of cuts in the last few years in a lot of public funds, which of course which affects the sort of advice that career advisors can give in schools, barring the independent schools who are obviously charging quite a bit. Now, the great thing we love about this tool is that it gives you lifetime access. So once you've paid the cost of the workshop, you have access to the tool for life. So when we get the profile done, he would show you some of the potential career choices that are available to you and the subjects that you need to take at O levels and A levels to actually be able to do that course. It will also help you identify universities here and in America that offer the courses. And as part of the whole package as well, you actually have access to hear from people who are already in that career that you're interested in. So it'll be a range of careers. Now, the other thing as well is it gives you an idea of the sort of environment that you thrive in. Are you better off in an entrepreneurial organization, or are you better off working in a big organizations with policies and procedures? There are lots and lots of things about the tool, which I'm really, really excited about as an HR professional, constantly interviewing people and realizing that sometimes people are not, even though they have the degrees, they're not quite equipped for the workplace. The other thing about this tool as well is the fact that a lot of parents sometimes struggle with helping their children put their personal statements together for uni. This tool is fantastic because it gives you a frame and you can keep updating things on the system, which then comes up with a report. And as part of the career counseling that we offer you a face-to-face on the day. And we also give you access in terms of to us via the telephone afterwards to have a chat, to ask any questions. Now, if your child doesn't make their GCSE grades, you recalibrate again. Or if they think, oh, I don't really want to do that anymore, because don't forget that what we're trying to do is begin to get an indication. It's not like we're going to pigeon them and say, this is where you must go. It's to help guide and create a career path for them so that by the time that they're going to uni, they're very equipped. Now, all of this is really positioning our children, your child, for the future. How many of you remember Walkmans, the black and white TVs? Remember before they were replaced? How many of you remember those cassettes, those vinyls? Do you remember them? Now we have iPods, it's all the iProducts. I'm mentioning this because you'd agree that there's been a lot of change by technology. Part of equipping our children is thinking about the labor market trends. What is the world going to look like in 10 years, 15, 20 years? You go to Tesco now, remember when it started, no one really thought that most people were going to use the self-service tills. But the truth is now you're more likely to have access to a self-service till than to have access to somebody at different times of the day. So this is really about equipping our children, guiding them so that they're prepared for the future that's ahead, which is not a future that we can even begin to envisage. A lot of the trends are talking about globalization, the impact. I'm sitting in the room here, I'm speaking to people in India when I call my bank. I'm sure you share some of those experiences. So it's really about equipping your child to be able to function in a global economy. Somebody mentioned earlier, I'm sorry, I think it might have been, no, not the French speaking, was it Nova, I think it was. She talked about how her daughter is doing voiceovers in 60 countries. And I'm sure your daughter is based here, isn't she, Nova? So that's a good example of how we can kind of think differently about careers for our children. A lot of the young people are not thinking like the older people. They're looking for something that fits around their passion and their talents, and they're not willing to sacrifice 20, 30 years to an organization. They want work-life balance. And our role really as parents is to help our children to be responsible adults, but are also functioning in areas where they're passionate. Because if your child is passionate about something, they're going to excel in it, rather than trying to fit a square peg in a round hole or the other way around. So you can obviously tell that I'm very,
very passionate
about this. And that's why StartRight is a fantastic tool. The cost is £150. We have early booking discounts. But if you think about how much it will cost you, in terms of your child going on the wrong course, that's thousands of pounds that you could save. The stress.
Late like you and I.
Starting late like us, yes. We got into what we wanted to do in our 30s. Just late 30s, I'd say. Mid to late 30s. Just imagine if we had started in our 20s. That would have made a huge difference. But it's not really about living with regrets, really. It's just about letting people know this is available to you. And £150 is not a lot at all for what you're going to get. And you'd also have a personalized report to take away as well. And the reason why we do it as a parent and child workshop is that we think we get the most out of it doing it that way as well, rather than just involved parenting. Yes. That was what a couple said earlier, the pastor couples, Tosin and Titi, I think. Yes, so that is it really, and it's really fantastic just to be a part of this whole team. Just listening to all of the tips, I'm thinking, oh, I must find Nova to talk to her about business for my child. So thank you, Donia, for the excellent work you're doing and for your encouragement to us all as well.
Well, no, thank you guys so much for sharing that. I think the tool that you have and the workshop that you're running is amazing, and I'm really delighted that you've actually offered. Sorry, someone's got me on loud. I can hear a feedback. Sorry, I don't know if you could just put your thing on mute a minute. Sorry. Yeah, so I was saying it's really really great to have you on board, and not just that you're experts in terms of your HR, your HR professionals, but you actually have a tool that I can come with my son or my child, and you actually find out if they do have their personality and the talents to actually become an engineer or to become a doctor, or to see if that place that I want them to go to. So, for example, I want my sons really not to become doctors and engineers. And I always say, I want them to take Mark Zuckerberg's job, because I am looking as a parent and seeing that that's the way to go, internet marketing and doing stuff in internet. So it might be even worth bringing them down to see actually that place that I would love to push them into that I don't, if that's really where they should be. And we may find out that actually they're right because they've identified their own passion. So I just think it's phenomenal. What's also phenomenal is that we're rounding up now, and you've actually given us a ticket, a space worth £150 to actually come on their workshop in February. I think it's February the 11th, but we'll send out more information about that. And we are wanting to offer that ticket to anyone on the course tonight who actually wants to anyone who's going to register for the course. So yeah, so some people have asked so far. So thanks for your question, Anna. How can you be a part of the network? How can you come on the actual training course? So like we said, I think Norva's actually responded, but Norva, if you could please put the link up to the Eventbrite. If you still want to come on the if you want to come on the course, and we'd love you to be a part of the network. Ideally, what I would like to do is to get a core group of people who come on this journey with us, because there are lots of additional bonuses that we're going to give now, like quarterly visits to different companies and organizations. Someone was actually saying to us that they would, one of the speakers who've got links with Sony and a few football teams will get us some tickets, or get us to see the CEO or the directors. And I'm really excited about that, because when I send out the link from Dami and also Shante, they said those experience that they got with us going to Reuters and going to KPMG and JP Morgan actually made a significant difference. They realized it stretched them, and it made them realize that they can achieve anything that they wanted to. So I'm really excited that we can actually bring that on the Education Success Masterclass And like I said, then in terms of masterclass, it's not just we're dealing with the whole child. When most people give you a program academics, yeah, get them 11 plus, get them the highest marks in 11 plus. We're doing that. Get them the highest marks in 11 plus and even more. Get them the highest marks in 11 plus and think of independent school as an option, because quite a few parents here, children do go to independent school. Get them the highest marks in 11 plus, but think how they can be entrepreneurs as well and use their talents. Get them the highest marks in 11 plus, but how, when they get there, like Vanessa has said, are they going to be, how are they going to continue to do well in school? Like Nova's daughter, who will be a prime example, give us some examples of how she's now head girl. So they will, there are parents and students in this program that will also be able to give that guidance. So if you want to, and I would love to have people on board that we can build that support network to take, help your children to get through that journey and reach where I did. Children, those jobs, use their power steps, then yeah, please do go to the Eventbrite. Like I've said, I've explained how the packages work. The first one is a 30-day, you get 30-day access to the videos, and yes, it will be all the speakers. It will be over a period of, we'll be drip feeding it, as I mentioned. We'll be drip feeding so you'll get, each week you'll get different speakers videos, you'll get access to those videos. Nova, was there something you wanted to say? Come on, you can come on board and speak if you want to. No, okay, sorry, I thought there was something you wanted me to mention. So yeah, so that's the 30-day, that's the 30-day access. You'll also get the free book as well, so a free ebook for that lifetime. So you'll have that free book with approximately 168 tips, proven tips sent in from, and it's tips from each speakers, just giving you some ideas as to how they help their children. So you get that free ebook. That's on the first package, and then on the second package, it's a 90-day package, and on that package, that 90-day package, you will then also get access to the content. Obviously, you get access to the content for a longer time. You'll also get a ticket, a VIP ticket, which is worth approximately £50 to come to the conference that we're having. So we're having a conference and seminar where we're inviting as many as the speakers to come along. So you'll get to meet the speakers, but you'll get to be part of a larger workshop. So that's VIP access to that. Then the next package up, which for parents who are thinking, actually, I need that a bit more help, a bit more guidance. I really want you to sit down with me and help me to create a plan for my child. Perhaps your child's having some difficulties in school, but they're quite bright, or you want them to help in terms of the 11 plus. You want us to help in terms of 11 plus. What will you use to get the highest marks? Which schools do you go to, which schools in terms of independent school? You want some of the parents whose children have gone to independent themselves to sit down and talk you through the scholarship route. With the that package, we obviously do like a one-to-one consultation, like I say, map you from where you are to where you want to get to, and it's something that you can use with your other children as well. If you obviously book tonight, like we say, we get a chance to win a place to actually, that £150 ticket to actually go to the session with Kemi and Bode. And there is a code that Nova has put up. I think it's ESM special, 25% off. So that's 25% of your ticket. If you've already booked your ticket, then you will get that bonus, a chance to win the ticket to go to Cambridge, and that's worth £70 with Nick. And also, just to say, if we're thinking of the if you're coming on board, the fact that you'll get those access to all those, like we say, additional bonuses that we're offering and trips to different places, that is just in, you know, we can't even begin to put a price on it. But if you're thinking even also about having 24 speakers, access to 24 speakers with the wealth of knowledge that they have, where at a minimum, you know, that I think the minimum, it would be one of the students maybe charging £25 per hour. Most of the speakers are beyond £50 or even £150 or £300 per hour. And we've actually got 24 people together, and the starting price without the discount is 47 for 24 speakers and the access to the ebook and the event worth £50. I mean, the discount that you're the discount that you're getting and the access is just, I think it's an outrageously great price. And I'm talking to you now about the pricing. I'm not trying to do a hard sell. I'm just trying to get you to understand as parents what the value of the course is and what you're actually getting. And the VIP support, someone's asking about the VIP support. That support is, that support is going to be there. You'll have access to that VIP support. But we'll always be posting things like bursaries that come up, scholarships that come up. So we're rounding off. We have 4 minutes. So everyone's just going to do a if you have any more questions, put them in the chat. The link is actually there, the ESM special. Sorry, I should say yes. It's there for 24 hours. And after that 24 hours, the 25% discount does go. You don't actually get that anymore. And if you've already bought your ticket, like I said, there are a number of other bonuses we will be offering you. And we will be sending out some links tonight. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, Vanessa will be doing a session on 11 plus. Yeah, how to do well in 11 plus, what kind of resources to use. And I'll be talking about 11 plus with her, and that's a live webinar. So book your tickets from now if 11 plus is the thing that you're interested in. So just to round off then, in that 4 minutes, starting with you, Nova, just a word of encouragement to the parents or anything else that you want to say. So we'll just go through the speakers, and it's just very quick because we'll round off in that 4 minutes. And I really appreciate everyone, all the parents who stayed to the end. It's worth staying to the end, all the offers that you've gotten. Thank you.
Yeah, well, once again, Donya, well done for putting this together. And I just want to say, listen, tell your neighbor, tell your friend, your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, and then their friends, and even send the dog with a message to your enemies that you need this information. If you really want to see this world move forward and be better, then knowledge is power. And knowledge kept to yourself is not power, it's selfishness. So spread the word and let people grow. Help somebody in 2017 to grow. That's what I would say.
Thank you very much, because I think that's a very good point, isn't it? Thank you very much for that, Nova, because sometimes we forget about the our friends or some other family member who also could benefit. And the great thing is sometimes when children are doing things in peer groups, and you're doing it with somebody else as well, you find that the result is even better. So no, thank you very much for rounding up with that. Thanks, Nova. Ida, just a quick roundup before we end.
I would say to any parent, whatever you're going through now, I've been there, or we've been there, pardon me, with my husband. It does work eventually. Don't feel as if you are going around in a kind of losing cycle. No, it does work. And that cycle goes so quickly. Look at me now in a huge house. It's just the two of us. The kids have all gone. But I look back and I said, how did we manage? We didn't have a manual. We just did it the way I thought was the right way. It was hard, it was challenging, but it was so rewarding. And I know now we've let go of our children into the big wide world, but they have the good foundation, which will carry them everywhere they go. And that's the most important thing. Be consistent as a parent and never give up. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thanks for that. I really appreciate that. And then Vanessa, a very quick one, please. Thank you.
Okay, to round up, I echo everything that's been said. All I'm going to say to you to add to this, you have come, you've taken part, participated in this webinar. Well done. Thank you for adding that little cherry on the cake, on that journey of your wonderful, beautiful child. You're looking at your child. What child is this? Listen, enjoy this journey. Thank you for reaching out to fellow parents. Thank you for researching. Just keep going. Be consistent. Never give up. This journey is well worth it. Parents, you're doing a fantastic job. Keep going. That's all I'm going to give you. Words of encouragement. Keep going.
Thank you very much for that, Vanessa. Really appreciate that. Encouraging. So we're rounding up, guys, with the word of encouragement for you. You started well, you're here, you turned up, you know, you showed that you're caring, you want to invest in your children. So that is superb. Tosin, it's... Hello, can we hear Tosin?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, great.
People out there, I've got to be honest with you, there's so many programs out there and there's so many systems out there, but I can assure you we are a living testimony of this system ourselves. We've used it, it's proven, it works, and I can assure you that you are on the right path. Stick onto it, get on board, let's work together. Nobody needs to be a lone ranger in this system any longer. We can all team together and achieve the purpose that we are here for. So come on board, we're waiting for you.
And that, thank you so much for that statement, because that is really nice, you know, to know that there are a group of people out there who want your children to do well, who want you to be a part of them, to help you. I just think that is just phenomenal. And if you look outside in the wider world, they would say there's nothing like that out there. And like we said before, this is absolutely totally unique, comprehensive, dealing with academics for sure, excellence, got role models who've actually achieved it academically, but also there are people who are talking about the self-confidence, the spirituality. It's raising spiritual leaders. Some of the people are not on the call, talking about family, helping to really emphasize how dads are important, how mothers can actually still do well if the dads are not around, and how to do that. And we'll give you those practical tips and those practical steps and those practical formulas. And I've gotten proven formulas. I just think that is phenomenal. And like you said, I thought of the idea of bringing everyone together because I didn't have that, and my mother didn't have that, and that's why she thought whichever school I went to, it didn't matter. And we had to fumble our way through university, and eventually something happened. I'm sure some of you have got that experience as well. But what we want to do is we want to reduce the risk, take out that child failing because parents has no knowledge or are not interested in getting that knowledge, or don't have the links with the companies, or don't have the know-how. We want to take out all of that and just bring the knowledge and the power, like Nova said. Okay, so finally over to you, Kemi and Bode, a word of encouragement, and then we'll run up.
Okay, I'll go first this time. I think one key thing to bear in mind, that's what makes this program really fantastic. Donya started it off. It's an end-to-end package, and you know, when she's talked about how we focus on making sure that we position, or really how we focus on making sure that the child lacks nothing in terms of awareness, knowledge, and we lack nothing in terms of our role as parents, nurturing the child towards where? Towards the bigger world out there. And you know, this program also takes into cognizance the need to begin to position the child for that future now, and that's fantastic. Coming on a program like this that already begins to shape your own mind as a parent in terms of where is the future going, what's the future. The child wants to work in HR. What's the future of HR in 10, 15, 20 years time? Where will the opportunities really be? You know, within HR, if the child wants to become an engineer, what sort of engineering would really be shaping right now? Technology, telecoms engineering, etc., is really shaping everything else. What sort of skills, both the technical and the other skills, what sort of skills does the child need to have? These are some of the things that we talk about our session, and sort of things that we're really very passionate about. So it takes your child's needs from now and into the future, and they spend so many more years of their lifetime in career, really, don't they? So that's so important to really come on board, engage with this, and the fact that it's once you've engaged with this, you've got it for a lifetime. You can only you've got a network as well that just keeps spreading. So it's a fantastic opportunity. I wouldn't miss it for anything in the world.
No, and I think thank you as well, because this is just taking the step to be a part of it shows that you are committed to making a difference in your child's life. So thank you for taking that step. And the second thing is, tomorrow is a new day. Some of the things that we've learned tonight, there is an opportunity to do it differently tomorrow. So don't be so hard on yourself thinking, one of the decisions I made this year was I'm not going to live with regrets. You have no control over what's happened in the past. You have control over the present, and what you do today can make a huge difference for the future. So when you wake up tomorrow morning or as you go to bed tonight, what is the one thing that you can do from all that you've heard just to make a difference and to start walking in that direction? The journey of 1,000 miles began with just one step. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kemi, and thank you very much, Bode, and thank you very much, speakers. Thanks to everyone who's joined. If you've already, you're already on the course, on the training course, and you still want to stay up for the rest of the night because you can't sleep after all the information that you I will, and I will have to do it. I think the rest of the team is totally shut down now. I will send you a link from Hilary Wyatt, who is the head teacher at Hyde Park School, and she's talking about how to unleash the genius. So she does training on how to unleash the genius in children. So she talks about it generally, but she's from an independent school. She also has some recordings that we actually interviewed her, and she talks about how to plan ahead, especially if you want your child to get into an independent school. So she gives you some tips. There's about 5 or so, no, in fact, I think it's about 6 videos from Hilary that we will be sending over to you tonight, if you still want to stay up and watch that. Or equally, you could just go over what we've actually done. But tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., if you've already signed up, will be 11 plus with Vanessa. If you can't make it and you've already registered, then we will actually do the replay. If you've not registered, guys, please do so you don't miss out on the live webinar, because you can ask question and answers with Vanessa on that webinar tomorrow. But thank you all so much for coming on. Absolutely appreciate it. I am looking forward to the network, learning from Ida, your 30 years experience, and getting some of you to give me some other ideas and tips. Enterprise, definitely. Nova, thank you. And maybe even being a wiser wife, who knows. Thank you, guys. Have a good night and stay blessed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah, good night. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks to all the parents for joining. Take care. Look forward to seeing you in the Facebook.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.